press the, isn't it the left side or something?
It shows battery. Guess we're gonna find out.
You can have mine.
I don't need one. You can sit right next to you.
It does say better. My voice carries. Yeah, ask anybody in my house.
Yeah, I need one too. Should be on that table for me. That's the meal. I don't know if I've ever seen that like the mom is dead. Yeah.
So are we,
You know what I mean?
I just see it. We're not having a meeting now?
What?
We're not having a meeting?
For the ZBA?
Alright.
I
Alright,
gotta
6
figure out
o'clock, I'll ask
something.
everyone to stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Alright, let it be known that 6 of the 7 council members are present. First item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Any items of business from the community that would like to address the council, now would be the time to do so. Yeah. I believe Bitkers, you guys wanna talk about something? I'm missing ya. Welcome, Mike. How about, yeah,
Okay.
benefit for you guys, if you guys wanna hop on the citizens forum, then, we can get you out of here quicker, how about that? Okay, you guys wanna join us up by Kim?
Then everybody can hear you.
Yeah.
That's the same.
Supposed to grab one and pass
Just
them.
one out of each pile.
Oh, one out of each pile? Oh. Okay.
One is for each year. Right, is I just printed off the, last couple years, and then the second page that's attached to it would be, the yards and stuff that we have to clean up. Just kinda break it down, so like when you're looking on the bill, when it says like 9 loads of wood and metal, just so you can kinda get a visual of like how many actual yards that ends up being when you compare from year to year. Just see how they've fluctuated. Which is one of the, that, and then also for the garbage too, that's the biggest part of what makes the difference in the bill. So it's more for your information, if there's anything that, you had questions on, we'll break it down a little bit more for you.
There's one for the last 4 years, council members.
Yep.
So by first look, it seems, obviously, at least our bill is down from last year.
Yep, if you compare, it's definitely, goes back to the yards, or the Packer trucks.
I think majority of
That-
that stuff cleaned out after COVID last year.
I'm hoping.
Yeah,
I'm hoping.
I wouldn't count on it.
Yeah. Say we're down, from last year, probably down 1 load, 1 roll-off for wood, and stay about the same for metal. And we down 1 for regular garbage for the Packer. And stuff. When you look at the second sheet of both, from this year and last year, in 2022 and 2021, the second page. The wood on 2022 says 180, last year was 193.
Mind if I bring that up?
Nope, that's fine.
Metal from this year was 175, and then metal last year was 153. So it kind of swapped. Went up, went down. But in general, I think it went about the same. I mean,
Did the process seem to work
I think it's still,
equally as good as the last few years?
I think so. I mean, we still got some that you know, we stress, you know, please sort it out. I mean, that's taken the longest, you know, having the lines wrapping around a block or 2 or 3. You know, it just takes us that much longer to go through, get everybody emptied. If you can just have those loads, you know, separated, be a big factor. Look at the flyer that comes out, you know, find out for sure if it's gotta come, something comes to us, or does it go to Glenn, or where does it actually have to go? That makes a big difference too on how much time you're gonna stand in line. I think, you know, people are starting to sort out those loads a little better, which, you know, helped for the separation, but in general, still a lot of stuff coming through. So if there's any questions or concerns, I guess is what we just wanna, you know, approach the council and kinda see what you guys thought, how you thought things went. Anything you heard on, you know, feedback for us that we could change or adapt to.
I just asked Ashley, just so the council knows and the community knows, we budgeted 22,000 for it this year, so,
Okay.
you know, we are under that estimate. Is there anything from the city standpoint that we can help out with or assist or change to make your guys' process easier? That we can maybe make a note of it now and try and adjust for it next year?
I did talk to Ashley and she did, you know, make the changes in the flyer, which I think that did help a little bit there too, on, you know, what's acceptable on my side versus the Norm County landfill. Talking to a few people, they are getting confused with the Norm County landfill, what we take, and with the city compost. They're getting kinda jumbled around that way. I don't know how we can get that information out on where those locations are or what that difference is. You know, not everybody in the county can bring things to the compost site. That is only for people that are located in the city of Ada.
Well, we tried to really hard, like, throughout the packet that we sent out, it was we would say Norman County site or
Yeah.
Ada site,
Yep.
trying to different, you know, but
Yeah, you're always gonna have
you're
somebody
always
that's
gonna have
not
that
gonna,
confusion, I think.
right. Now, do you have anything to add or do you wanna bring up?
I don't know, some of it, and I don't know how you would police it, but you have a lot of trailer loads upon trailer loads of repeat. Now, how do you police that? Are they helping somebody? I mean, you're not physically there holding their hand, so I don't know
Yeah.
what's
Where it's actually coming from.
coming from.
Sure.
That's the hard part.
I don't, that. Now, they could be helping somebody, they could be, but, I don't know. It just seems like you can about set your clock by certain vehicles coming through, and I find it difficult to believe they have that much, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, and is it, how do you wanna stipulate it's only for residents? Is it for commercial? Is it for those that own places here that are renting out and cleaning out, or, it is really hard to police exactly what that's coming from. Those locations, I don't know. I guess we've tried the best that we can to try to look at some of it going, yeah, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, but how do you police that?
Well, we talked about it back in March or April about how we, as a council, are gonna police it. We're not here for a reconstruction or a remodel project, and we are here only for the citizens of the community of Ada. And the discussion, I think, at this table started with, you gotta present a city bill and stuff. We talked about
Yeah,
that. It
we
was
talked
too
about
late
that last
already
time.
this year.
Right.
Yep,
But maybe that's something that we need to talk about moving forward for next year, now that we have a little time to work on it, so.
And I don't know if you're gonna include businesses during this, or if it's,
then to what extent, cause you might have, say, a daycare or
yeah,
business uptown, or maybe you own a place that you're renting out. What are you gonna, just a business as a business, and that's just it, and that goes back to, how do you police that? Do you, if you do like the utility bill thing, do you want them to come up and say, okay, I plan on utilizing this service, and get a special number, and then that list comes to us and be like, well, you gotta have a special number, but then again, it could be so-and-so knows so-and-so, well, just tell them my number is 15 and you're bringing stuff for me. I don't know.
and for us, you know, if it's a take a ticket or, for us, that would be really difficult because just the staffing issue would be,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
now you're gonna dedicate a person or two just for,
Yeah.
to try to do that.
And we don't have any kind of a, there's no stipulation on a quantity of, I mean, that me or
It's
you could
supposed to
bring
be
in,
small
right?
amounts.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
It's supposed to be like, say for example, if you did a remodel job, it's supposed to be just like, say, leftovers, just small amounts
Right,
of
yeah,
what you had
yeah.
left over.
Yeah, I agree
You know,
there.
that you could put
Half a
in your
bundle of
trunk kind of
shingles,
thing.
a couple sheets of sheetrock, you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like dressers or bags of, I don't know, whatever, I mean, there really hasn't been there's never been a quantity there, is
No.
there, honestly?
No,
or-
so if somebody has, you know,
beds or
100
something.
dressers, there's,
Yeah, right.
there's no limit on how many dressers or
Beds
beds
or
or
couches,
couches, et
and-
cetera, they could bring.
Do you have a lot of stuff you had to turn away then, or not really too bad, actually?
I think we had, I'd say maybe a handful of those that we've asked to go resort
Okay,
and come back.
so it wasn't too bad.
That we turned away completely, that had to go to, say, the landfill was, that I know that I did, was probably 2.
Okay.
So, I mean, in general, not bad.
That's good, yeah.
But it's when you have all that piled upon a pile that's you're ciphering through and
you
Yeah.
know.
resorting it.
But I thought too, when I had heard.
If they
there
have a
was
pickup in there, you know, I think we ran into where they pull in 2 or 3 trailers behind it, you know, and it's like, good gravy, Gertie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's why I was amazed that really the quantity.
And it
for-
would, and that wouldn't even be bad if, okay, this is lumber, this is furniture, this is
Just
household.
broke down a little easier. Yeah.
But, you know, no, it was just throw it in there and
Yeah.
it's like, where do you start?
Right.
You know, and we don't really want to do, because we only do 3 days versus, you know, years ago we used to do, you know, whatever day was your garbage day was your cleanup day.
Oh.
No, if we, since we're doing the 3 days and they bring to us, it's like we really don't want to say, okay, just the first day is all construction stuff, only construction stuff can come to us, and, you know, the next day only furniture, because you got to work that day. Well, now
Yeah.
you're going to
Yeah.
be
Everyone's got
worried on that.
different
It's not,
schedules.
that's the reason why we do the 3 days in different times to try to compensate
Yeah.
for different shifts and.
And I mean,
Yeah.
for the guy that's got one pickup load, I mean, he's got a dresser, a half bundle of shingles, and
Yeah.
I mean, if he can just do it in one trip and be done, why do you want to make him
Right.
come
Yeah.
3 times? You know?
And most
Yeah.
people are very, very nice and accommodating and try to help
Good.
out too, but
Well,
it's.
a lot of it helps too, I mean, we talk in this room about blight constantly.
That's what I
And
was gonna
so,
bring up.
it's a hard thing to
Yeah.
try to limit, because if we're pushing all these homes to get cleaned up and we want them to bring up and dispose of it, I think it's a
Yes.
hard thing to sit and monitor.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, I mean, I know there was a few intensive loads this year, but, I mean, where do we cut it off? Because
Right.
we want the yards cleaned, or do we want the junk sitting there?
Yeah.
So,
And just on
It's-
that note, there was one instance that we're still getting lots on our normal garbage, so we need to talk about that too, on what we wanna kind of regulate as how many bags, how many garbage cans, how many hoppers we wanna have, cause each hopper takes a lot of bags of garbage, and we have a few instances that we're talking a couple hoppers at each location.
Every week.
Yeah,
Wow.
and this is every week,
Is that when they need a dumpster then?
Well-
Generally?
or bigger,
Oh.
Wow.
You know,
I would say,
back of a garbage truck figures that holds 3 cubic yards. So if you can kind of picture that.
say about
Like a
15 to
dump.
20 garbage bags per hopper, and we're doing, this last time I wanna say is like 4 hoppers at one location
Holy buckets.
of
So,
stuff.
so like if you look at like what's behind the bar, we consider them a 2-yard dumpster. Well, you figure if they're taking 2 hoppers, well, that's our big dumpster. Every
Maybe 4 yard, yeah.
Oh.
We should have a discussion then with
Right.
Ashley in regards to these couple
Yeah, which
properties.
goes back to the contract
And,
and which will be coming up again next year. I think I'll have to look again, but,
Yeah.
so
I
it is
think we have
something we
one more
should,
year.
you know, maybe change and,
Yeah,
yeah.
change,
So
you know,
we-
kind
we
of really
should
break
just-
that down, and that'd be a good way too, you know, just get the word out saying in the flyer that this is changing, that we're only gonna
Yeah.
allow so many bags, so many garbage cans.
you know, kind of I don't know what you'd call that, semi-volume control.
yeah.
Yeah,
You know, it's not, oh, you can only fill one garbage can or.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want
Right.
eggs or.
Well, and then
It'd
house
be-
numbers too, you know, we've discussed that too, that, and Ashley and I have discussed it
Yeah.
too. We'll come up with something here in the meantime before hopefully next
Yeah.
year that, we can address that issue that you guys have as well, so.
Yeah. You know, like I said, it's not just to help us out, but all the, you know, garbage, or, fire trucks and ambulance and just,
Yep.
and police, everybody in
Post
general.
office,
and
everyone, yep.
Everybody.
Okay.
Do you guys have any concerns or
Any other
suggestions for
council have any
next year?
questions?
No, thank you again.
Any-
Okay,
Yeah, really
pretty
appreciate
good,
Thank you.
awesome.
Try
Thank you
best.
guys,
But definitely let us know if there's anything we can do.
yeah, well, we appreciate it.
You guys have a good night.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
All right, anybody on Facebook that wants to comment on the citizens forum? Okay, moving on to the consent agenda. Excuse me, one change, letter C, the accounts payable, 56,979.96, again, 56 comma 979, period 96. I need a motion to approve. And a motion from Crystal,
Second.
second from Sean, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Onto the agenda, under presentations, add Mikey Myers under letter B. Under reports of department heads, letter B number 6. Do permits for Pub 21 and Main Street. Number 7. Changing the August meeting from the 2nd to the 3rd. Does anyone else have any further additions to the agenda? Okay, if not, I need a motion to approve. So moved. Okay, a motion from Josh, I need a second. Second from Scott, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Tyson,
Hey, what's happening?
you're up, buddy. Welcome back.
Get comfy.
Oh, short and sweet.
Nothing, I'm just here to say hi, give a quick update. So our project did get approved for plan and spec approval through the MPCA, so we've been certified to PFA, so that's good news. They're kind of, basically, we're now in line for funding, we just gotta finish the PFA application and then we'll move to bidding. We're not in a hurry to bid, especially kind of where the bidding climate is right now, so we're gonna look towards early winter. We'll get the information to PFA, so Ashley, I'll go through that with you, and we'll just have to, it's basically, we gotta pull information that, Mary Jane put in her email like a month ago, so, we're kinda, not dragging our feet, but just getting things set up, and then we'll bid through the end of the course of the winter, so we can award a contract sometime probably in the new year. Construction will commence through next year, and then we're looking to make sure we're structuring the debt and the payments so they come in
2024.
end of like late 23 or like early
Early
24.
24. Yeah.
And I'll have that discussion with Mary Jane when we start to send payment, start to send stuff back to say, look, we're looking to make sure that our first debt payment isn't gonna hit until the 24 season. So we'll be right up front with that. That's the schedule we set for PFA and for MPCA when we're going through, so. The big thing too is we're pretty sure, and they're still working through it. A lot of projects are in gridlock right now because of this Buy American plan that's coming in. So what I'm hoping, we're probably immune because we've already been approved. So I don't think they're gonna make our projects that have been certified go retroactive for that, so that's good news. That was the whole reason why we pulled things ahead, was to avoid that. So we're sitting in a good place, and I'm thinking we achieved that. You can't guarantee it until we finalize the loan documents, cause they can always come back and be like, well, we changed our mind and this is what we're gonna do, but, I think based on us being certified, we should be pretty good. So, really, that's all I have, just give you an update and say hello and happy summer.
I don't know if I let everybody know that Dan moved on either.
Oh yeah,
I
Dan's
don't know if I actually let you guys know, so I'm sorry about that.
so, yeah, Dan is
You wanna-
the new city of, I think,
West Fargo.
minted last, I think officially in like within the last week and a half.
Oh, wow.
But he is the West Fargo city engineer.
Wow.
Really?
So
Good for him.
now we have 2 employees that went to West Fargo and became So our batting record's good. No, it was a great move. It was a good opportunity for Dan. He'll do really well there. We're excited for him. So I mean, it was one of those deals where it was going to be tough for him to not take that position.
Yep.
So yeah, it sucks to have him be gone, but I'm happy that he landed in a good spot. We'll still get to work with him. So
Good.
Yep.
I
So
mean,
you just have to see more of me.
perfect. Nobody's got
Thanks.
any
You got
questions for Tyson? Okay. Thanks, Tyson. Appreciate it. Mike, you're up. I know we all know you, but if you want to introduce yourself, just because you are on camera and all
Mike
that good
Myers
stuff.
from Fort, Minnesota. Yeah, just interested in a lot you guys have. I don't know particulars I know where it's at, but I don't know.
So it's a tower edition. I just sent you guys an email with the screenshot so you guys can see what lot. If you want to pull that up. And
For reference, it's the lot in between the
The
Tuttle
empty-
House and
The
the,
empty one there, yeah.
yeah,
Section one.
so
Yeah.
yeah,
It's the one that
Section
nobody wants with the power pole and.
yeah.
yeah.
Right.
It's the
Except,
power
hey,
pole.
except you.
Well, maybe.
So
Just gotta put it on the ground.
Can't.
just to give everyone a heads
It's
up,
$100,000.
It's it holds the other.
Oh,
It
I
holds
did,
all the
I
other
have,
holes.
I have heard that now that you say, yep.
So the reason I sent you guys the map too to look at it, and it says section 1, section 2, section 3, is it's a really weird. They're all the same parcel number. So if you were to go to the tax and look at the assessor's office, it's listed as one parcel at like 1.3 acres. It's clearly not one parcel. But I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. So when you look at it, if you look, they're obviously all the same. I don't know why that happened or when that got split like that, but yes, section 1 is what you were looking at to purchase.
So before Mike says anything, just so we're all on the same page, Mike is only interested in section 1.
Yeah,
Obviously, the far east lot. The total assessed value that we've been working on for the last, since I've been on council, is for the 3 lots combined.
yes,
So the $22,000 is for the 3 lots combined.
and that's what we've had it listed, or that's in the past.
It's been listed.
Yeah,
Yep.
we use that as because that's what it's assessed at.
Yep.
But again, that's for the 1.3 acres, which equals all 3 of those together. It's really odd. So,
So we'll have to be surveyed and split off then and issued new parcel numbers for the other ones, yeah. Okay.
Yep.
the other 2, I mean, obviously the one, it's not really buildable on, and the other one is very small, so I don't, but, yeah.
All right, Mike. You're up.
I let you guys. What are you guys looking for out of it before I throw a number out? You make the first move.
$22,000.
$500.
There's, well, we got some starting points.
Yeah. My plan is to move a home to it and put on it and resell it.
Mhm.
I have a house. I have everybody lined up to do the concrete, to do everything we need.
Are you talking about your folks'
Yes.
whole
Yes,
place?
Yes.
Okay. So again, so you just want the piece that's right with the
Right.
pole there,
Yep.
but that chunk there would be what
That's
you
it.
want, right?
That's all I want. yeah.
Yep.
That's all I need. If the other ones were connected to it, it'd be great.
Right.
So what,
Do you guys have a number that you're thinking of?
what did the other ones sell for as a piece every time? I mean,
Whew.
the Tuttle one, the next one beside it, I don't remember who's that, it's, that fella, going on down the line. Remember? I guess I don't, or what?
I don't.
And Reggies are like 8 and 8, aren't they?
Reggies are 10
Yeah.
apiece.
Yeah, okay.
Reggies are 10.
No, we
They're
must know what,
95 feet.
we must know what those were selling for though, or do we give them away or what? I don't remember. It's been a
No, we
while
didn't.
now.
We didn't give them away.
Been
'Cause those were there before Cougar Edition were there.
way before Cougar.
Right,
Yeah.
So
exactly.
That was like the first edition.
That would have been, what, 20 years ago?
That's a
Oh,
long time now,
more than
yeah.
that.
It was, I might have been in high school.
30 years ago.
The other thing is there sewer and line close by there so they can connect into it?
I believe so.
The
Okay.
infrastructure's there.
It's in that road, right?
Yeah.
And then there's the whole portion of the pole being there
Right.
It's, we haven't had one offer on it
for a reason.
Because of that.
For a reason.
for that
Sure,
reason.
right. It's a challenge, yeah.
Because obviously that makes it undesirable to many people, is that pole, and that pole can't be removed, but,
The last quote that we got to remove that pole to make it underground was $100,000.
yeah.
That was to put all of it underground, right?
All of
Yeah,
it.
Oh my goodness.
because of the load that goes through the pole.
Yeah, because it's a big power.
21 grand.
505.
21.5.
Fair, fair.
We're getting closer.
I guess to me, we can't really ask 21 grand for it with that pole there and being how long it's that empty. Do you look at just getting rid of it? I don't know. What's kind of your number? What are you thinking, Mike?
3,500?
I was closer to half, just because it's half the property, if you look at it, it's basically about half the full sections, but that would be closer to 10 grand.
Because we're running out.
But-
We're running out of lots.
But,
It's still a huge property.
But you said it's 10 for a lot in the Reiki edition?
Yeah.
it's bigger than a Reggie Edition lot.
These are
It's,
bigger.
it's
Oh,
almost,
This is bigger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Reggie Edition
it's
lot.
almost a third bigger
Right.
than the Reggie.
With a pole.
With a pole.
Yeah, so
Right,
that's just a number that's out
yeah.
there, but I'm not saying that's it, you guys
Have we
make the
had
decision.
Offers on this property before?
Not since I asked John if he could remember any offers since
Not,
he's been
not as
sitting
long
here.
as I've been on this table, no, it,
No.
and again, it always goes back to that pole is directly in the middle of the entire property, it's just not ergonomically split.
And it might have something to do with they were trying to sell all three of them.
Well, I'm
as
assuming
one.
until you
And
go to
nobody
the
wanted all
GIS
three.
map and look that it's split up,
Right.
when you look at just the property information and the description, you were gonna assume that it was 1.3 acres, which is a really nice big size lot,
Right.
but obviously it's not that amount.
So, give me now, like it's in that front part that's off the street, how much is that, how much of that, where's the other part? I'm still a little confused on where the rest of it goes.
Says section 1, section 2.
Do you have your
section
iPad on
3.
you?
Yeah, but I don't see it in there.
Those three
So it's
are all
like-
the same parcel number that are separated.
You got it
by
up,
housing.
Scott?
I don't hear.
Show me where it's at.
They're actually pretty deep lots. You know, those trees are there.
trees
Yeah.
They're-
They go to
that's-
the back of the
Okay.
tree line.
So it goes all the
Basically
way,
right
so it
in
is
the
one
front of the-
rectangle, okay.
The back.
So this is the
Yeah.
section that goes all the way to the back of the trees, just
Sure.
like the rest of
Just like everybody else, it's right.
And then this, the lot is
Up to
listed
your
as
roof.
this plus this.
Oh, but he just,
He just wants
No.
this section.
right,
So the
okay, so we're
property
not
would
gonna
go
sell
on
him
the
that,
other
or he
side
gets
of
all
the
that for,
Back on the
No,
back
You're
side.
asking
no,
us,
he
just the
wants
back
just
here.
this
Just
section.
Right,
So we'd
okay.
have these two
Back there,
sections
sure.
left. This one's obviously unbuildable, it's too
Right.
small. This one
apparently
could
not
be
that
sold
big
for
a
a
deal.
lot.
yeah, right,
It'd be tight, but you could
Yeah.
sell it.
yeah.
So, I don't know why it was ever
Maybe not, maybe a little
divided that
less
way,
than
but
Maybe.
I guess someone needs to make a motion or.
Well, someone needs to make a
Somebody has
motion,
to-
or Mike needs to make an offer, and we can start there, how about that?
3,500.
Okay, I got an offer from Mike for 3,500 for section 1 of the Tower Edition.
You know, just looking at it, the rest of the lot's going for 10 grand and the Raggy over there, granted. It's a little bit bigger, but you do have the pole in there as well. I mean, I wouldn't even feel right asking 10 for it. I guess I'm thinking more in that 7 to 8 mark. And starting from there, I think 10 is, we've already tried getting other people to buy that lot. It hasn't sold for a reason. Mike actually has a way of going about moving that, we'll have tax value there. Something's gonna go up, it ain't just gonna be an empty lot, so.
So,
Well, I'll be honest, I don't think that place is like I said, it's never been touched, and I think those other lots were all sold for very little over there, truthfully, so.
I was told that somebody else built one on the west side of town, and he was offered that lot for free at that time. So, but he
You
took the
might
other
be
one.
right, they might have been free lots back in
I don't know.
I thought they,
that brief
yeah,
time.
He didn't have any record of it, or never
I
got
was
anything to me,
told
but he
that
thought
Yeah.
maybe.
He wanted to lower it, and the previous council would never go, obviously, but that's different, I mean, that's very different.
I'd make a motion to offer it at 7,500.
It wouldn't be a motion, it'd be a counter offer.
Counter offer.
Because Mike's would still have to accept it.
Yeah.
Of what? 7, 8, 8?
7,500.
7,500. The only thing I'll say, just because I've been sitting here long enough, yes, we are asking 10 grand for the lots in the Reg Edition. This lot is bigger than the lots in the Reg Edition, almost, like I said, it's a third bigger. That pole is an issue, it's been brought up every time we've been discussed this. So keep that in mind. But I guess.
Obviously, being a third bigger isn't that big of a deal to everybody else who's been purchasing in the reg.
right, they're not big enough for the way it is, that's the problem out there. And we don't wanna be nickel and diming everybody not to get a house
Well,
out there
then,
either.
devil's advocate would say we have smaller lots in the Reg Edition, we're selling for 10.
Yeah, they're buying
So that-
two of them, they have to buy two to get.
Not the last 3 we've sold, Mike.
Oh, yeah, but either way, they're not big enough, so.
Well, I know they're not big enough, but we're selling them.
Well, right, yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
There need to be a second to my counter offer, or is it just a counter?
I have a second.
Okay, I got a second from
Just a
Scott.
counter?
Further discussion, then I guess we can let Mike figure out if he wants to do this or not, but, I got a motion and a second from Casey and Scott for $7,500 to sell section 1 of the Tower Edition.
Are we gonna spend a couple months trying to negotiate this? I'm sure you wanna get this thing done if we can, so, I mean, I don't know how this is gonna work. You know,
I want it
Again.
in place by winter,
I believe you,
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
unless you have other lots that
We're
have-
running, like Sean
Sorry,
said, we're
last
running
one.
out.
that have houses on, that, 'cause I got ability to remove them, and
Yeah, we're running out. We don't have
This
any.
is our last lot.
You know,
Now, other towns are offering free lots. Andrew,
yeah, I was told that.
any further discussion?
so you see 3,500, you say 70.
What, do we have to make a motion and Mike can say no to that one and then we redo it, or we gotta just walk away for a while, or what? I mean, I just.
Well, last time we had a discussion, it was involved you and I, Mike.
Yeah.
We went in the back room and
Yeah.
hashed it out.
Yeah.
We can
that's fair,
certainly
too.
do that too, if council wants to do that. But I think that's where the council's at right now, Mike, is 7,500.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
What are the council's wishes?
How about 5?
Yeah, I was gonna say about 5.
I was, some reason or another sticks in my head is 5,000, not 500, 5,000. You wish.
Mike?
I would go for 5.
Okay, so you guys got Mike's number.
I'd make a motion for 5,000.
Okay.
Sell it to Mike.
I got a motion from Mike, I got a second from Josh to accept the offer of $5,000 for section 1 in the Tower Edition. Further discussion?
Call the question.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you,
Thanks, Mike.
Satisfied?
thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Ashley will contact you tomorrow and you guys
Yep,
can work out
that's
all
fine.
the legalities of it.
Thanks for your help, guys.
Awesome.
Bring cash.
Thank you.
I can, but does that help?
Check's fine. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks.
Okay, moving on to the mayor's report. This is the last time you guys have to have me say this. 2022 elections, the deadline is August 2nd. It's a Tuesday. City Hall closes that night at 5 p.m., correct?
5:30.
5:30, excuse me. So, what's that? No, we have to have ours in by that.
Mm-hmm. No, ours they have to be in
Not for the city.
by August second.
It was from when I started talking about it,
Yeah,
back
it
in
was-
February.
It was, yeah, 4
Maybe
months.
not February,
Sorry,
but yeah.
4 months
But
ago,
August
3
second, we have to, cause then we have to send it to the county.
Yeah, so August 2nd, 5:30, Ashley will be there up at City Hall. Again, we have 4 city council spots open in the mayor position. It's the last time you're gonna hear me say that. Second item is the FM Writers Club benefit for the VFW. They're asking for a $100 donation request. I need a motion.
So moved.
I got a motion from Casey, second from Crystal. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Administrator Clerk, Treasurer's Report.
Department updates. Echo Center, busy with swimming lessons. We did get the ice rink liner off the rink finally. It is destroyed, so it will not be able to be used again. We did get, the volleyball courts are up and running, the volleyball, or so Sam Volleyball League is going, wading pool is up. So a lot of activities and things going on there. We're still very short staff, in desperate need of staff. We're losing one of our lifeguards at the end of the summer, which means we'll be down to 1 lifeguard only. So we've been trying, we might need to start talking about some other options as well coming up. Our public works department, between the street sweeping, branch removal, we've got a lot of underground wire projects coming up, things like that. They're working on that kind of stuff. Liquor store, we finally got all of our new till and everything integrated and our new inventory system and everything. So we're learning now how to pull all these reports and getting all this data and information. That's really gonna help, I think, us in the future, know, what sales are working, what we can do to improve, if we can raise our margins to help, because our sales are higher than last year, but because the prices of products have gone up so high, our profit's lower. So we really need to try to figure out what we're gonna do, and that's the hardest part, is we obviously don't wanna raise prices in Ada, but at the same time, if our sales, I don't know how much more we can increase our sales. I mean, they're really doing everything they can over there. And again, we've had some really, really awesome weekends lately, which is shown by the sales numbers, but then when you go to the profits, because like I said, the margins are not as big as we'd like. And obviously we still wanna have sales going on, we wanna have promotions, we wanna have stuff, we don't wanna take that away either. So we're hoping that this new system will help us kinda analyze and break down those numbers a little bit more and see what we can do. Police department, as you know, we are losing Bruce probably at the end of this month here. He is taking another position closer to home, closer to his family, so we have been in the process of trying to hire. At this point, we do not have any applications. I've worked with the union committee to kind of come up with some ideas, since obviously next year the union, or we'll be renegotiating new rates. We're hoping by trying to match some of the departments around us as far as pay goes will help with being able to market those wages. But right now, we're hiring, the county's hiring, Monoman's hiring, Dilworth, Holly, Glendon, Grand Forks, everywhere around us. So we're trying to figure out a competitive edge, because at this point, it looks like, the end of July, beginning of August, Bruce will be gone, and we'll be down to 1 officer. We do have the part-time guy, which is awesome. However, August, he will be on leave for the guard. So, that leaves us with just Steve. We've marketed and promoted everywhere we can think of. We're continuing to push it. We're spending more marketing dollars on this position than anything else. But if you guys have ideas, let me know. It's kind of a scary time knowing that like every place around us is trying to hire with no success. So that's where we are there. 2023 budget planning, I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. So I have asked the departments, we've gone through their budgets, we've looked through any line items that were over at this point. We're also looking at, you know, equipment or big things to happen in 2023 at this point, other than maybe possibly the sewer project that we're looking at doing. It doesn't look like any big purchases. But as you know, in August, we'll start kind of digging into that budget as the primary, and then in September that will be approved. So I'm encouraging our departments to look now. One of the biggest things, obviously, we'll see is our fuel, and a lot of areas, just equipment in general. Everything's increased. Every place is now charging surcharges to come from our chemical companies to even our garbage rates. We're gonna have to look at because their surcharges have gone up so much because of fuel. So there'll be some changes, but I don't anticipate anything huge at this point. I will have meetings with each of the department heads to kind of analyze their budgets. A few of them are over right now in areas. So either one of two things, we'll be reallocating some of their expenses, or like I said, we'll have to look at maybe raising those budgets just because there's not a lot that we can do. I mean, we need fuel, we need equipment, we need parts, things like that. So anyways, that'll be in August, and then I will, as long as I'm here, I will be leading that meeting. If I'm not here, Doug will be leading that meeting, so. Any questions on the budget planning? Okay, so the fire department turnout gear, I just wanted to address this. We've had a lot of questions about why the council isn't allowing the fire department to purchase turnout gear. And as you guys remember, we have been setting aside 16 grand a year to try to get like anywhere between 3, 4, 5 sets each year to purchase those. I know the fire department is working on some grants to try to purchase those instead, but we made the decision last year to start setting aside 16 grand over the next few years until we've replaced all of them. And I wanted to clear that up because we are trying to allow that budget or those things to be purchased. Yeah, go ahead.
I've never been told it was 16,000 for the whole thing. I've been told 16,000 was the budget, 6,000 goes to turnout gear, 10,000 is for our normal operating expenses, like we've done for the last numerous years. I was never told 16 grand was for turnout this year. And if we have a FEMA grant going on right now, part of the reason I don't wanna buy turnout gear immediately is because we have a FEMA grant that is in the winds. If we get it, we can purchase the gear for 5% instead of the full boat. So this is when you and I had conversations, I didn't know that 16,000 capital outlay was supposed to be turnout.
Okay, well,
and when I've asked at our prayer meetings, I haven't had that brought up, saying that the whole budget was for turnout, because how would we buy anything else then?
because nothing else has been approached to the city in budget planning of items that we've needed for the next year. So we can go back and listen to the meeting if we want, but when we were budget planning, and that's, if you're in the middle of applying for a grant, that's fine. The question is that we're getting, why are we not providing funds to go towards turnout gear? And I'm just saying that we are providing funds. We specifically put that fund, that money in there.
I was told at our meeting and with gentlemen here.
Which meeting?
Not the meeting that you and I had, 16,000 is for turnout gear, 10,000 is for our annual operating expenses for gear that we need. Which
But-
is always under that guise of, if you have something you need in your budget, you can spend up to $5,000 without council's approval to purchase it.
Two things, Steve, two things, just, I'll cut you off real quick. Up to 5,000 is still okay with Ashley's approval, not council's approval. She's still our city administrator, she still needs to approve that. The 16,000 that the council approved in 2021 for our 2022 budget was for turnout gear. That is over and above your other budget.
This is just your capital outlay budget.
And
This is like when we budget for a vehicle and I'm told that our vehicle's gonna cost 45 grand.
Yeah.
We take that out of our long-term and we put it into the capital outlay specifically for that item. And if it's a different item, so for example, we planned for the Deco Center, we planned for 2 furnaces, and we put it into the capital outlay budget. Her furnaces have kicked in, they've worked, they're fine. Last month she came to us, she needed a condenser and a exhaust fan. And so instead of using it, the council made the decision that we will use her budget that was originally supposed to be for furnaces because they were still up and running and everything was okay, that we would purchase this other item. But it went to council. It was under 5 grand. One was 1,000 something and what, but because it was a different item than what was originally that money was intended for, it got approved by council. And so that is all that we're asking as the fire department does is the same, because those funds that we originally had said here, the intention was for the turnout gear. Now, if the grant is in place and that's what we're doing, and there's other items you want to utilize, if you want to come to council and with those items and change what we originally had tried to budget for, the council can make that decision and change it. I'm just saying the intention was for turnout gear. And I know there's a lot of questions of why it's not even just the reason that you are applying for the grant. We're getting questions of why we're not providing safety gear for our fire department, and I want our fire department and our community to know that we are trying to set aside money each year to purchase these, and the council intends to use that money towards turnout gear. So if there's other items that you need to swap out because that turnout gear is sitting there in a grant or whatever, it just needs to go to this board, is all I'm saying.
As I hear that though, the only fund that we have for purchasing equipment is our capital outlay. And if 16,000 is set away for turnout gear.
You have
there's no other-
operating, you have repair and maintenance, you have fire training materials, you have office supplies.
Yeah.
You have all the other-
Maintenance, office supplies, if I need foam like we ordered this year, $700-800 worth, that usually goes through capital outlay. Somebody needs new boots, whatever, that always goes through, the capital outlay because it's a longer term purchase. We don't normally throw that under.
But that's something we need as a fire department, then we need to sit down and discuss and look at a year ahead of time what these needs are going to be for the future and coming year. That way we can, as a council, budget for those items, I would say. Is that?
Yeah, and if things change, like I said, throughout the year, I know in August, it's hard to imagine a full year ahead. If things change, that's why the council can make the decision to change it. Like I just mentioned, the Deco Center changed from 2 furnaces that we thought were gonna break down to a condenser unit that literally did break down and changed it. So, I mean, those changes can be made. I just think it needs.
Saying that he thought that they only had 16,000 total for the entire year for everything.
Exactly.
That's what I'm thinking,
we
I'm
operated
coming
off
from,
of
yeah.
For umpteen years, the last few years have been 6,000 for turnout gear to go towards that, the other 10 grand is for equipment that we need.
Okay, so in October, maybe it was even September of last year when we started budgeting for 2022, Ashley approached each department head and said, this is what you guys need, help me out, help us start the budget so we can figure out what kind of levy we're gonna have. I believe when it got back to this table, it was, we need turnout gear in the worst way. You know, some of these are getting aged, they need to be replaced.
2 of those last year that were the worst.
Yeah, and I
But-
think,
but
I think,
grant situation, you know,
correct, but I think at that point, I think this table decided that, the volunteer firefighters of this community deserve new turnout gear, and we need to start budgeting for said gear. And I think this table agreed again on 16 grand, and I think when we approved it, I think it should have been applied or transposed to at least the fire department that should be what the money should be spent for. Maybe it wasn't, maybe it was, I don't know, Steve, I'm assuming it was. With that being said, if another department needs a piece of equipment, I'm hearing a fan, just what I'm hearing for the fire department. And I don't, what's the fan cost?
4,200.
Okay,
And it's coming out of, it's a damn lot of FDIC,
sure.
5,200 there, but it's a battery operated fan instead of a plug-in or a gas operated that.
Yeah, and I'm assuming
so
it's a
that's-
grade,
That's where we were expecting, using that
Yep.
$10,000 of normal annual monies to
Yep.
purchase it.
and I'm assuming it's a great deal. Otherwise you wouldn't have purchased it. You and I have talked about purchases in the past. I don't think that's the point. I think the point is, some of the departments see that $5,000 cherry, and I'm not picking on you, just because you're sitting in front of me, that it doesn't have to come in front of council. Ashley can approve it up in her office. That's not the case. If we're not budgeting for a fan here, you can't just go over here and buy a fire suit, and vice versa. That money is allocated, that is the city's money, that's the taxpayers' money, that you guys set aside last year for turnout gear. And I think that's where the problem is getting here, communication or not.
Obviously.
Yeah. How much, what is their budget sitting at right now, Ashley?
$15,061, because there's been no, turnout gears purchased.
The two sets we bought last year, one on 21's budget.
Correct.
So,
Yep.
and then we got two sets for the rookies, free from the state.
Okay.
So,
But we'd still like to purchase 2 more.
yeah, but, you know,
This
part of
year.
that is waiting to see if we get a FEMA grant. If we get the grant, there's no reason to
Right.
purchase
And-
that. Might as well use that money
And
to go towards the 5%.
and that's fine. What I'm just saying is, if we change what it was originally allocated for, then that purchase just has to come to council for the council approval. I'm not saying that you can't purchase the fan or use that 16 grand towards something else. I'm just saying if it was originally allocated, for example, if the police department, we originally allocated for a police vehicle, if they came in and said all of a sudden they wanted, I don't know, guns and other equipment or whatever, they would have to go through the same thing and get it changed till it would be reallocated. That's all I'm saying. If the funds are there and you're not gonna use it on turnout gear, then, there's something else, it's just getting it approved so that we know that it's being allocated towards something else.
What was the total for the fan again, Steve?
4,200.
When do you think they'll know on the FEMA grant thing?
They haven't, we haven't been notified of anything yet, so I
just,
have no
move
idea if
on.
it'll be a month, 3 months, 5
Oh,
months.
you don't know, so
They're all
there's no
over the
guarantee
board.
it's before the end of the year, you're saying? Oh.
I'm frustrated.
So what's the cost of the gear,
It's not
Steve?
about the fan.
I know.
Over $3 grand a person,
It is,
from head to toe,
yeah.
yeah,
Boots,
just over, yeah, probably 32, 33. And now with inflation crap, who knows what it's gonna
Yeah.
be.
Ideas from council, questions, comments, concerns?
Well, I don't know, I mean, I guys you're able to go as you are right now, other than, I mean, or do you need a couple right now, or you said, are you okay the way it sounds? And
You know, the two sets that we did get rid of for guys were the rattiest. We went through them and checked them out, and they were the worst. OSHA says you're supposed to redo this every 10 years. Not many departments can afford to do it every 10 years unless they're getting grants, or if they're
Sure.
actually budgeting it every year, so then 10 years.
Which
nothing
we are.
about FEMA,
Yep.
boom, we got the money, it's a done deal. So, and that's how we did it for years before we got the FEMA grant. We bought 3 sets a year. And so, it was about every 10 years then when you had 30 guys in the department that you got your rotation. But grants have kind of thrown us,
When do you expect to hear back from this grant, Steve? Any idea?
unfortunately, no.
Yeah, it's just like the
It's
rest of them.
FEMA, it could be tomorrow, it could be 4 months.
Yep. Does the council have any ideas before I offer a suggestion? Just to keep things moving forward, first and foremost, I think, Steve, we need the communication to open up a little bit, moving into next year. Just just so we all have a better idea of where this money's coming from, where it should go, where this table of 7 is budgeted for. I'll start there. Second, just so we can keep moving, we saved $3,100 from the Al's Disposal Cleanup Week this year. It would be my suggestion for the council to use that $3,100 to pay for the $4,200 part of the fan, and Ashley can take the remaining out of next year's budget, or whatever council decides. But to my knowledge, the fan's already been purchased.
We've spoken for it, they sent us an invoice, I told them there was a holdup on it, but we spoke for it.
We budgeted 22 grand for the cleanup week. We spent just under 19.
If you're looking at that direction, sorry to interrupt, miscellaneous or whatever in our budget, if there's funds in one of our line items that can throw it under the miscellaneous or something like that. Preferably not repair and maintenance of trucks, cause that might, we're getting some trucks worked on and.
We can take it out of the COVID funds,
My
the
only
remaining balance.
hesitancy to that idea though, so we've talked about this whole budgeting thing here, especially going into raising that levy, or trying to keep that levy where it's at.
Yep.
This budgeting and getting this nailed down is one of our big priorities, right? We're also looking at a lot of our other areas, prices going up, and how are we doing budget in other areas right now? You know, yes, granted, we saved a little bit of money here on the Al's Disposal piece, but where are we sitting on some of these other areas?
Well, I read the Public Works meeting minutes, and that's a topic for later on in the meeting. So, but yes.
But if, not saying that we're gonna get all willy-nilly with the budget and stuff here, but it's something to keep in mind too as we've tried to nail this down here now.
Correct.
If we start making exceptions here.
Absolutely.
But you're saying he has no money left in his budget for this year? To buy that fan?
No, so if you wanna buy the fan and the council approves the fan, we'll use the COVID money, or we'll use the long-term capital money in the 16,000.
Right.
That the
And that's
council
taking
set.
it, that the council said, and that's fine, we've done that in other instances, but what I'm just saying that the council needs to make that decision that we're gonna take $4,200 from the turnout gear budget that was
Right.
originally set,
Yeah.
and we'll purchase the fan, but now that turnout gear budget that was originally allocated towards it is gone. And that's fine if the council makes that decision, it's just trying to make sure that we're doing this, like Casey mentioned, you know, we're trying to cut our budgets and cut the levy, and we can't just buy everything we wanna buy, like, there's reasons why we look and pick and choose of what's gonna go in that capital outlay budget every year.
So in the future,
So in the
departments
fu-
should come to the
Yes,
council
I
for
mean, we
purchasing
went
of
around and
budget.
around and.
But we've
where
been talking about that for as long as I've been on this table.
So that's where, so if, I mean, we don't have to take it out of a different line item, we can take it out of capital outlay from fire department. If the council wants to approve that as a fan, if this fan is something that is needed for the fire department. It's just about making sure that we're communicating when we are changing our budgets or changing something that's already been allocated, is what I'm getting at.
And here's the problem, the biggest problem. If the grant doesn't come through, you guys get denied, you don't get it, okay? Now that 16 grand that you guys approved for turnout gear last year is cut in a quarter. And now you can only purchase 1 or 1.5, 2 turnout gears. I can't remember.
12 grand left of
Okay.
16,000 minus.
And how much is each one, Steve?
So it's 4 cents.
Okay, but you can't purchase 5,
33 grand.
okay?
So
And
is
that's
the
what
fan-
you guys allocated the money for, and that's the caveat to that. You can't pick both.
Right. Well, that's why I asked, I said, your turnout gear is, if you're in dire straits for a bunch, then
The
that's where we
turnout
should buy
gear-
it that way.
Certainly more guys, you would like to get them swapped out,
Sure.
but like I say, the 2 that we did were by far the worst.
But the turnout gear, the reason why we budgeted for that is
Correct.
because it was so bad. Because Ashley went to Steve and Steve said,
The main thing is
Yeah.
OSHA says it's out of date,
yeah,
not that, there's some gear that look perfectly fine.
yeah, yeah. Well, Ashley and I can't vote, so We need one of you seven to,
Do we need to vote on anything?
well, just some guidance. We
Well,
got,
you need
we
to
gotta come
vote
up with
if
the
we
money
purchase-
somewhere.
you need-
Cause they purchased it. Where do you guys want the money to
It's
come
not
from?
purchased yet, it's spoken for.
Steve, can you call them tomorrow and say we don't need the fan?
I can probably tell them that it's not acceptable.
But you need the fan.
We would like to have it. When we were down at Bork this winter with that gas leak we had, a battery operated fan, intrinsically safe. We spent an hour and a half ventilating that house. We could have been out of there in 20 minutes with something like this would have helped instead of the other equipment
Sure.
we currently have. Now that's part of the reason
I'm
that
having contractions, I gotta go.
the crew was looking at going to.
Is it something that we can look at budgeting in the next year, if it's an important item that you guys need at the fire department there, can we look at adding it to the budget next year, when we can actually plan it out for it then?
It can be just,
Well, it's not
we
like,
normally don't, I mean, budget wise, I don't put down $1,000 each year for 3 pagers, $500 for hose, 1,000, we've always gone off of, there's $10,000 money to spend. If it's over X number of dollars, we normally get approval, but that way it was, more general for what we actually needed when we needed it. And we usually did not spend that money unless it was needed till the end of the year to make sure that we made it through the year without somebody's turnout gear getting ripped and having to get it replaced, or somebody's boots getting ripped, et cetera. So we somewhat purposely left that 10 grand that we had to work with fairly vague, because you never know.
I guess over the last week, I've learned a lot about turnout gear, talking to people and how important it is. I'd like to see that money stay where it's budgeted right now and stay towards that turnout gear.
But what about the fan?
yeah.
Do it next year.
He's also getting $1,000 off of this one though, so
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, that's a pretty good buy. I don't know,
All the stuff is spendy, I get that. So it's,
You mentioned the COVID balance, there's that.
85 grand.
We
84.
have 86, we've spent 12 grand of it.
Keeping in mind that balance, that account does have restrictions. So I still go back to my recommendation, if you guys do wanna move forward with the fan, to still take the majority of that money out of the cleanup week budget. Wouldn't you agree, Ashley?
I don't.
Okay,
Only because we are looking at, our garbage rates stay the same this year.
yeah,
But because of our surcharges, our cost is a lot more than what we're charging our community members. And so if we hit that budget, we're gonna need somewhere else to take it out of.
Okay.
Like our surcharges used to be between $100 and $200 a month, we're looking at $700 to $800 a month. And that's gonna have to come out of somewhere.
and that's why you're sitting
Sorry.
there. No, that's why you're sitting there.
I agree.
You are the knowledge.
So this kind of goes back to the 2023 budget planning of when I want to sit down with all the departments, and it's not just you, Steve. If this is the case and we need to, it's just we've been as a council. You guys last year was a big cutting year. We cut out everything that was necessary. We planned, and we sat down and said, "This is exactly what we're going to buy. This is what we're doing this year." Because over the last 3, 4, 5 years, we've purchased things left and right. And so next year, if it's something that you wanna do and you wanna go back to a $10,000 budget where you are able to allocate or buy, then the council can make that decision for the 2023 budget planning. If you guys want the fan, I think you have to take it out of the turnout gear. I don't,
Yeah, it still leaves them with, what, 4 more
Four
items,
more-
I guess.
4
if
more
you-
units.
4
yeah.
units.
But that's not what they asked for.
No. Would you rather have the fan and have one less turnout gear, or not have the fan and have the turnout gear? The extra one,
You know,
if you had a choice on it.
this is what we didn't have a FEMA grant sitting out there, it'd be a done deal, but with the FEMA grant, it's difficult to make a decision, because we don't know, are we gonna get 20 sets of gear for $5,000?
Yeah, and we're all sitting here gonna make tough decisions too, but if you had to make the decision, which one would you go with?
Steve, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So, when you did that grant,
Mhm.
is that like a set amount of gear?
It was for.
Is it like 15, is it 30, I mean, do
20,
they,
whatever our membership was at the time, 23 or 24,
okay, so
so that's what
hypothetically,
it's in there right now.
we bought 4 sets. They don't know that, so we're still
No,
gonna
the-
get 26 sets or whatever the
Yeah,
number
we
was,
get 20
correct?
we
Cause
would
you
get
always need,
funding for
you need
23,
extras,
24.
right?
Pardon?
You need extras, you
Uh,
should have an extra set there, I know we don't,
No.
I'm not saying we do, but to have a set hanging there, if something happens, would be great. So what I'm saying is, or I'm asking, if you write a grant for 20 sets, you're gonna get 20 sets, no matter how many new ones you own. Am I wrong, or am I
When we wrote the
assuming?
grant, we would, if we write the grant for next year, and we show that there's 4 new sets or 6 new sets, that's what you have to show, so then instead of 24 sets, you're writing it for 18, and then you're pretty much, you're throwing out the window.
Right, but we're kicking the can down the road though, so we're just gonna keep kicking these sets every year if we keep writing another
Well,
grant, correct?
If we get, I would almost say next year, if we don't get the grant this year,
We have to buy.
yeah, then we're gonna be stuck, then we're gonna have to buy, because we will not qualify for it. We'll be at 50 to 75% new gear with the rookies, the 2 sets we replaced, couple sets here, so that's why I'm in the little conundrum too, because I'd rather see the city be able to save a ton of money if
Alright.
FEMA goes for this.
And we appreciate that.
So again, I like what Casey asked, what do you want? And then, like I said, we can make it work, I think, cause obviously, future-wise, we all have to work together a little better again on making things, the right decisions and stuff, so, but I guess what do you think, Steve?
I'll say it now, I want gear, that's just me, it's just me. But I'll make no friends at that, but I want
And
gear.
Sean also doesn't have a vote, so.
Right.
You know, at the firemen's meeting, we brought this up and put it to a vote there. Majority of the people said fan, but that's also looking at the situation of hopefully getting a grant. And we may be placing more hopes than anything, but
Mhm.
that's why we put the grant out there. I would like to see us have the fan, because there's situations we could use it and be safe. But I also don't wanna be stepping on feet and whatnot, so.
Nobody wants to hear me talk.
Well, there's only
anyways.
four members of the council that can vote on this. So I need a motion from one of those 4.
I make a motion, we, purchase a fan out of whatever Ashley considers the right budget part there and go forward with that, and then possibly buying the turnout gear if we need to later.
Mike, just to clarify, are you asking to buy the fan out of that $16,000 budgeted area?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I got a motion from Mike.
Second it.
I got a second from Kim. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Failed the first time. Yeah. So, for as long as I've been sitting on this table, I have preached and preached and preached about budget. You guys, as long as you guys have been sitting here, you've heard me talk about it. This council, myself included, budgeted for the turnout gear. I think that's where the money should stay, Steve. No hard feelings, but I will veto this vote. Moving on to something a little happier. Maternity leave.
We're happy campers, don't worry.
Good.
Well, I'm leaving on maternity leave.
So Steve, you still saves John's house, you're saying, maybe?
Oh,
It might take them a little longer to get there,
Thank you, Steve.
Knock on wood, though.
Yeah.
but, no.
So obviously, you guys know I'm leaving, probably middle of August or so, for 10 to 12 weeks. So my question is if we kinda wanna do similar to what we did last time, where we don't have an interim, but Doug and Steph kinda take over my duties. I'm still gonna come to the council meetings, I'll still be involved as much as possible, maybe not that first week or two, but, I just wanted to get a direction of what you guys wanted to do as far as covering kind of my job
From remembering it, it worked really well the way it was set up last time.
Yeah.
I'd like to go the same route as what we did before.
Did we
Okay.
give them a little bump?
You did $2 more an hour.
Were you happy
I'm
with
sorry,
last time,
I've-
Ashley, or do you think, do you want, are there different things you wanna do differently, maybe?
I thought it worked out well last time. We live in town and you still take the calls, you're
Well, I
still
know, and that's-
involved in everything, yeah.
Right, and that's why we don't, you
Yeah, I don't think there
speak
needs
up
to
that you
be-
shouldn't have to do that either, obviously, at certain times, so, I mean, we appreciate it, but you shouldn't have to.
I
I'm
mean-
probably not gonna make any friends by saying this, but I didn't know how much Ashley was gonna be involved last time, and, that's kinda why I thought the extra pay increase was good. After seeing how much she was involved and around after her last one, I think maybe the extra pay increase isn't really necessary this time.
Cause she was leaning on so much.
Yeah, that'd be just my recommendation, or my thoughts this time around.
Are you saying you're not recommending the $2 raise? Yeah, I agree with you, Josh.
Yep.
Because the way I look at it, myself and any of you guys get paid, you're paid for that job or whatever, even if you have to come in and fill in for somebody else, or myself, haul a tank, or jump in a fuel truck or whatever to fill in, my pay is the same. And I understand these folks are still a union, so they gotta be getting a decent wage as it is right now. And I
Like
agree,
said,
I agree with
I know they
Josh.
take on a little bit extra, but as much as Ashley was involved last time, I think.
Yeah,
I guess I'll go ahead and echo that same sentiment there, especially as we're talking, try and tighten up the budget here, tighten the belt here. It's probably not the worst idea.
my question is, okay, when you came back from maternity leave, Ashley, did their, pay drop $2 an hour? Or did it stay when you,
No, they went back
they
to,
went back to the,
Yeah.
yeah, okay,
It was a set
it
time.
was a set time, just while I was out on leave.
okay.
Yeah, no, it went back down.
Okay. Should be all we need to discuss about that, unless anyone else has any further discussion. Okay, permits for, Pub 21 and Main Street.
Main Street is, Main Street and the pub are going to be doing 2 events out at the, fairgrounds. They're going to be doing one on, 7/16 and 7/23, so they're both looking for off-site permits. And then Pub 21 is also looking for a street dance permit, for the 16th and 23rd as well. They're not having a street dance, but they'd like to block off the roads. They're having, the VFW run and another motorcycle run, so, I have their permits in front of me, just need council's approval that you guys are fine with them doing that.
Need a motion to approve?
So moved.
Got a motion from Casey, second from Josh, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. So our August meeting is slated for August 2nd. That's actually, National Night Out, so I'd like to move it to the 3rd. We've always moved it to the Wednesday instead of the following week. Does council have any issues with that, or otherwise I need a motion? Okay, I got a motion from Crystal, second from Sean to move it to the 3rd. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Excuse me. Old business. Ordinance 485, amending elected official salary. This is the second reading. I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Okay, I got a motion from Kim, second from Scott. Any further discussion? Kim, that was, waiving of the reading as well, wasn't it?
Yes.
That's what I thought I heard you say.
If you back not, you can go back and read it yourself.
Yeah. All right, ordinance, 485, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. And, let's see here, on the new business, Kaleidoscope. Kim and Mike for Thursday at 9.
Perfect.
I'm seeing head nods. Okay.
Lots of reminders are good too.
Yeah.
I'll try to remind you.
I got your phone number, Mike.
Thursday at 9, call
I
Mike.
got your phone number.
All right, resolution 2022-07-01, the release of the tax forfeiture. If you guys look in your packet, Ashley sent out a deal from Donna over at the county, releasing 2 properties within the city of Ada. I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Okay, I got a motion from Sean, second from Casey. These will go on the annual fall auction, obviously. I think it's October?
October, yeah.
Yeah, October.
You need a individual vote on
Yep.
that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
sorry.
Any further discussion about this? Okay, resolution 2022-07-01 by roll call vote. Mike?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Josh?
Aye.
Crystal?
Aye.
Sean?
Aye.
Casey?
Aye.
Kim?
Aye.
Resolution 2022-07-01 passes. Then we got 2022-07-02, the Reggie edition sale.
This is lot 2, so it's the last lot in the Reggie edition. Nicholas Chisholm offered it. I have an earnest check of $500 for the full asking price of 10 grand. He is planning on building a home there within the next year.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I got a motion from Sean, second from Josh. Any further discussion? I'll just say this, cause Ashley and I have talked about it a little bit in the last week. This is our last lot in the Reggie edition now, so at some point we need to start thinking, north, northeast, somewhere up in that area, whether it's Reggie 2 or Cougar 3. There's a ton of variables, a lot of different pricing options, and Tyson, that's where you're smiling back there already.
Tyson and I have talked about it too. We've talked about it.
So next couple weeks, drive out in that area, and Ashley and I would love to hear ideas. I'm sure Tyson will bring some to the council as well. But with that being said, resolution 2022-07-02 by roll call vote. Mike.
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
Josh.
Aye.
Crystal.
Aye.
Sean.
Aye.
Casey.
Aye.
Kim.
Aye.
Resolution 2022-07-02 passes. Ada Event Center door replacement. You guys also have that in your package.
Yeah, this isn't something that we have to replace now. I just wanted to give you guys a heads up of, obviously we all know we've been in that event center, that front door is shot. We did fix a little bit of it, so, we did fix the closures, which I was also told that the closures that we purchased, which were $900, if you can see in this bid, would go on new doors if we were to get new doors. Because those were slamming, and at any time we were worried that the glass was just gonna shatter. Now, this is a pretty expensive door, $10,600 total for the front. But again, this isn't something that we have to decide today. It's just something that we need to start thinking about, because as winter comes, that door does not seal, it does not lock very well. I mean, it's on its last legs. So we just need to figure out some options of maybe what to do moving forward. And
Can I ask a question?
yeah,
Is this a big door opener? You know what I mean? Do they both open there?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have to?
To be
Yeah.
ADA
To
compliant.
be ADA compliant, and
They just have to be a certain width.
yeah, and honestly, okay, I'm not.
'Cause I
I
think
did
so.
have a contractor look, just and give me an idea of what it would be if we were to like reframe it in.
That's what
You're
I'm
looking
getting
at the same cost.
Okay, never mind.
By the
That's
time
what I
you
was
do the
getting at.
brick and everything else.
I was just thinking of glass and heat and.
But
You know
I
what I
don't
mean?
know if a glass door or a commercial door. I mean, this is coming from Ada Building Center. I had them go up there and give me what their best opinion of it was, and this is what it is. again, it's not something we have to do today, we just need to start because if you guys have all been in there, it's, literally on its last leg. Closures have helped a ton. They're definitely making sure that those doors aren't gonna shatter, but I would like to just have this on your radar, whether it's this year or we budget for it next year, or if there is other ideas that you guys have throughout the next month or so. But with winter coming, we're just really worried because those doors, they don't seal, and so everything gets let out of that building as well too.
We should probably get some more bids anyways, if we can, right?
If you guys are interested in looking forward of replacing it, and it's something that we should do that you guys feel, we can definitely get some more bids and some more ideas. I just wanted to get it on the table as a discussion topic because, yeah.
Well, I know you can see, standing on the inside, you can see light through the two doors, so I mean, it's definitely something I think we do need to look at before
Ashley,
winter,
where
so.
will this come out of?
Well, so it would come out of our long-term capital. Our event center, we don't have a big budget that we plan for every year. It's not out of our general fund. We take what we get for rent there, and that's what we utilize. So this would be something that would have to come out of our long-term capital. Or, I mean, we could look at COVID funds.
That's what I was gonna say, is there any way we could look at?
We could definitely look at COVID funds, and I could see if there's a way to, yeah.
Is that 10 grand just for the door, or was that installed?
So this is for
both.
everything.
Ooh, I hope so.
And we've already spent 900 of it because we
Sure.
did do the closures, but those had to be done. I made that decision to do because those doors were they slammed every time
Right.
you opened them, and
Yep.
we were scared a weekend or something they would just shatter.
Yeah.
Again, we don't have to do it this way. I just want to start that discussion because it's something
Right.
I
that.
think we should get a few more bids and
We
see.
gotta get some bids so we can plan, right?
Okay,
Yep.
so I'll talk to.
That's what we could do.
I mean, this is for Maida Building Center, so you guys have to know that I'm gonna go outside of town then. Okay. And get
Yeah, I
some more
think at that
ideas.
price, you have to get more than one bid.
But I'll get, and if,
Even if it's just from other contractors in town, right? The doors, right? I mean, I understand they might buy them in town, but
yeah. What? I'll get some other
in a
bids.
building center ain't putting them in, is what I'm saying.
Okay,
So some
no,
contract-
our
Right,
public
that's what
works,
I-
our public works guys are
Okay.
putting them in.
Yeah.
What's that?
Public works are gonna put them in.
Oh.
We're just
Oh.
buying the materials.
So the 10,000
So it is really 10
is
grand.
for-
Sorry.
Well, no, no, technically it is installed. We pay Public Works by the hour. We're
Well,
already paying them to do something, so
Right,
she's
but
not
10,000.
wrong.
Okay, but
Sorry.
the material is 10 grand then.
The material's 10 grand.
The question was, is it installed? She said yes, that's not
Right.
wrong.
Sorry.
Right.
True.
Yeah.
No, but
So-
that wasn't
Misleading.
included.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is the
I
total
get
price
you.
of what it's gonna
Yes.
cost us.
For the
Yeah.
door. For the door.
For the door.
For the door.
The door.
Technically it's two as well.
See, on
All
the
right.
quote, I think the confusion is because it says we propose to furnish and install.
Install, yeah.
That's
Okay.
where,
Okay.
that's
Sure.
where we were off on that.
Yeah.
That's why I said who's installing, yeah.
I will get other bids. If there's other ideas that you guys have besides glass doors, I really don't know. I mean, as far as commercial doors go, I really don't know other than glass. But I will get some other bids and we'll start talking about it. But I just wanted to get that on the table because it's.
That's a lot.
But if you guys have walked into the event center too, and there's not someone holding the door in front of or behind you, you know that thing just slaps. I mean, it's bad.
And it locks horribly. I
Yeah.
think
It's awful to get unlocked.
Yeah, it is.
Public Works have been up there. They've probably fixed it 24 times this summer alone. So I mean, it's been
It's something to
monkeyed
look at
with.
for
It's
sure.
been so. All right,
'Kay.
I will get some more. We'll move forward with this. I just didn't want to do all the work if you guys were like absolutely not. So
No, we need to fix something there.
Okay, committee updates, Public Works.
Oh, okay. Sorry, you talking to me?
Either you or Casey.
Public Works, Brian updated us on the mower. That day, I believe it was in Fargo, it just needed to be picked
It
up.
showed up the end of last week.
Okay, I was gonna say, it's gonna be the next week when they got it all prepped and ready and, all that ready to go and ready to be used. We had some discussion about, some electrical projects. I think he touched base on again, the highway department and, getting that stuff finished up. I believe it was close.
Yep.
I think they had a bore under the, creek there, or ditch 51. The other thing they talked about is a fuel tank lease purchase. They're just gonna purchase it out. Obviously with the price of the fuel, getting it delivered to the, facility, I guess you can call it, is cheaper. I guess there was a little miscommunication or maybe not honoring what was said, I guess. So,
We had a lease contract on
yep,
it.
yep.
And the handshake agreement Brian had was that we would be able to purchase fuel anywhere depending on the pricing on it. That didn't turn out quite to be what other party had in mind, so to be away with the BS and make it simpler, Brian would like to purchase that tank outright so we can go and shop around fuel to the cheapest price.
Which I think it was like 16 cents a gallon. It was a
significant
it was a
amount
big
on the
number when you talk about the amount of fuel they use out there.
But so is the $5,900 that now you guys are asking to take out of a budget.
Yes, that he
So I bring this up
says
only
he has.
because
That says he has.
I went through the committee minutes just like I'm hoping the rest of you did. And the first thing that caught me off guard was the representative said even though it was a lease tank and his competitor was cheaper on fuel, occasionally it was okay to let them fill it. Whether it was a handshake agreement or not, that should have been written down somewhere.
Yeah, probably.
Anywhere.
It was.
Yep. Yep.
And you guys, Public
was.
Works did it one time, and now they have to take 58, 78, and 13 cents out of a budget that they hadn't planned for. That is avoidable.
Oh, most definitely.
So how much is the lease tank now, a month? How
I,
much are we leasing it for?
I didn't get that information, I guess.
I think
I
it's so
don't.
much a gallon, isn't it?
I think it's just so much a month.
It was so-
It's so
Because
much
we're
fun.
we're talking
I don't
about doing
know
the
that-
same
I
thing
don't
at
know
the
off
school,
top
because
of
we
my
can
head
save
what it is
18
a
cents a
month.
gallon
Yeah.
on the road tax
But-
if we put a tank
Right.
in.
And actually, Brian said that where was he gonna pull that? Where did he plan on?
He wanted to pull it out, so because it goes to all the departments,
A little
streets,
bit.
utility, he
This should-
wanted
yeah.
it to take out a little bit of every department, so out of electric, utilities, or electric, water, sewer, mowing, all of it, but,
So-
I see what you're getting at.
So, right underneath that, the next item in your guys' agenda says literally other budget numbers. Brian told the board that most things are costing almost twice as much as they did when we set the budget for this year, and it is almost impossible to keep from going over budget on necessary items. Besides price increases, most companies are tacking on fuel charges, which are very costly due to fuel prices.
So to combat that, by buying out this lease, then we can purchase cheaper fuel. This is an item that we're gonna pay upfront on to save in the long run, is the idea on it.
Correct, but if we're already going over other budget items on July 12th,
Where's the 58?
Good point.
Yep, no, it's a valid point, especially for the conversation we just had here a little bit ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having
I
a
would
hard
say
time
the
with
one
this already.
difference with that is a one-time off purchase versus something that's gonna save the city money in the long run.
Correct.
That's the
Yep.
difference with them.
Yep,
the lease is essentially gonna pay off,
Yeah,
where
just
we own
forward-
it,
we
we're
just
just
pay it
paying it
We're
up
gonna
front,
pay it
but
now, or we're
I,
gonna pay it down
it's-
the road, yes.
you're 100% correct.
100% correct on the
Why not,
budgeting aspect.
why not bring this up next year in the budget plan?
Well,
I'm,
then we're gonna purchase a lot of fuel between now and then at, like they mentioned, 16 cents
I don't
higher a
believe we
gallon.
can put they won't let us put another company's fuel
Fuel
in
in
this.
right
That's from what I understood.
Most won't, yeah.
So they're gonna either way, we're gonna go buy it at the pump, which, okay, or you're gonna have to buy it from the person that was 16 cents higher.
Yeah.
Which is still, I'm guessing, cheaper than,
Still cheaper than
pump,
pump,
yeah.
but
the only reason I'm bringing this up is because we just had a lengthy conversation with another department, and if we're gonna do this for one department, we need to do it for all
I,
four.
I agree
That's-
with, I agree with that, yep.
I agree.
That's what we're discussing it.
That's why we're, yep.
So what's your suggestion, John?
Well, I'm 0 for 1 on suggestions so far tonight, so I'll take a council's suggestion on where you guys would like to take $5,800 from, almost $5,900.
But if you're dividing that over 16 cents a gallon, you think How many years is that gonna take to pay for itself?
How many times is Brian figuring we're gonna fill that tank by the end of the year here? So,
Twice.
twice as
It obviously depends on
Yeah.
on the winter.
Depends on the,
Winter,
depends
yes.
on the season, actually, that's what it boils down to, cause they haven't even filled it up for how many months now, you know?
It's like going and buying a car, cause gas is expensive, you buy better mileage gas, but you paid 10 grand for a car, is that, I mean,
Right.
I don't know,
Right.
maybe I'm out of it, I'm just thinking that seems like a lot of money up front for,
36.
and who knows, I mean, maybe we're gonna have gas
So
like this forever.
36,000 gallons at 16 cents.
Right, okay,
So what
so
does that come out to?
how many years worth of gas was that, or diesel?
Depends on what you're burning, you know what I mean?
You're right.
The thing with this, I
How
guess,
many
my,
That's 57.60 right there.
my
At 16
understanding
cents.
is, it's premium diesel.
57.60.
Now, I didn't ask Brian if he had any issues with the trucks or anything like
How
last
many
fall,
years
cause
left
we
of
were
this lease
supplying
is
the
there?
fuel.
I mean, that's
Okay.
what you have to.
Now,
that's
10
what you have
cents
to
of
know.
that
I think it was
dollar
X number of dollars
comes
is
back to
10.
the city.
And generally
for a
speaking, it's 10
dividend.
or 12.
Oh, sure.
That's what
Okay,
they're talking
so
about.
under the.
Right, Petroservice has
Are
a
we
dividend,
on-
right?
Are we on year
That's
9?
why
Are we
it's
on year
such a
only
difference
on
in
year
price and
one.
stuff like that
Yeah.
too.
What was their second year?
That was an awful agreement.
I believe they're 10 or 12, because like I say, we're talking about the same thing at the school, because we gotta do something. We burn 3,000, 3,500 gallons a month.
It has saved, I mean, the tank itself has saved us a lot in fuel. I mean, especially since the first 2 times we filled up, we got it really low before,
Sure.
but,
So obviously, the solution is that we have to fill it with the lease company's fuel for now, until we budget that money
For next
to buy
year.
that out.
That's what I would say.
That's what I would say. We did it with the fire department, we have to do it here.
That's what I've been saying.
Yeah.
Is it? Because I didn't hear that.
Well,
These are big
I also don't have a vote, so.
The thing with it is
Someone
that
has to say
Brian
something.
he can call our salesman or any other place else or whatever, but he can get a price. And our company will damn near meet, if not try to beat that price.
Well, then
You know?
hopefully that happens.
And see, and that's what.
But I don't think
that's
that
what
did
our
this
problem-
time.
That's what
Right.
didn't happen. That's why it got.
And,
Right.
and it might have been just because it got a little sour after you saying I could do this and now you can't
Yeah.
do this. So I think maybe the communication lines probably
I think
drew.
that's what's gonna happen between,
But-
getting prices or whatever, so yeah. I know we beat our competition before in price,
Right.
you know, so.
okay.
And hopefully
So,
we can do the same for the school.
done with that,
Yeah,
no,
we could-
okay.
yeah.
So the other part.
The lines maintenance, I've got the total price on that if you guys,
So
okay.
there is electrical line that Brian would like to have buried. We have a local contractor who is gonna be selling his business here in the next couple weeks. Couple weeks or months.
Havercam's selling in the next couple weeks.
Couple weeks, it's Havercamps. Havercamps has always given the city a pretty good discount and is much lower compared to the competition around the area on this. Brian would like to get one last project out of Havercamp before he goes down the road.
So this project was approved 2 years ago, and then 2 years ago, his equipment went down, so it wasn't done. The reason it got brought up again is because the residents that this affects have been approaching Brian and the city about why we're not getting this done, and then they know that they know that Havercamp's going to essentially be done. So that's why this is brought up now. And like they said, it's working with him, we definitely get a better price than now if we're gonna have to go outside of town. So essentially the cost is $11,000 to do this. We do have it in our budget. If we decide that this is what we wanna do, we have a $40,000 total budget for underground wire a year. We have 29,000 in our remaining balance. 14,000 of that is gonna be allocated to the county, which means we'll have, money left, and if we do 11,000 for this project, we still have $4,079 remaining in our budget for the year.
I think it's only fair if we've approved it
It has,
To move forward.
to move forward with it, being we have it in the budget. And
So the estimated, with the 11 grand that we got
Yeah.
quoted, the estimation was gonna be closer to 20 if we went somewhere else.
exactly.
So
probably 20, yeah,
Yeah.
depending.
He never gave us a bid, whenever it was budget, I mean, whenever we tried to do it, And they
It was
broke down.
7,500 2 years ago.
Two
It
years
was,
ago.
I was gonna say, it was under 10 grand, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then his equipment went down, but I mean, we do, like I said, we budget 40 grand every year, cause we know we're gonna have underground wire projects every single year. There's 4 grand left, that doesn't leave us a lot, but at this point, it's August,
Right.
and I don't see us being able to do underground wire projects for the rest of the year, so we're still gonna be under budget in this, with all
Sure.
of it said and done, if you guys wanna move forward with it.
I'll make the motion to move forward with it.
Okay, I got a motion from Josh, second from Crystal. Any further discussion? All opposed, or all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes.
Throw us off.
Yeah, public safety.
Let me get this here. We talked about making sure that, the fire department, and not only the fire department, but the, police department have, these, like, emergency lock boxes on a lot of the apartments. I think a lot of them have been kinda lost or skewed or, you know, over the times. Trying to get people all on the same page, so we all have the same keys, and that includes the EMS, cause I think they're the ones that are really struggling with that. We did, put a new, guy on the fire department, Dustin Olson. There was some OSHA training material that they had purchased with some, the fire department, sorry, with some training dollars that had to be used up by, I believe, July 1, if I remember correctly. We also talked extensively about the replacement of Bruce and getting it advertised. And then trying to figure out the day the power went out, the fire department and police department doesn't have any kind of backup generator, it's just dead. So when we left that day, we had to pull the door open by hand. I've talked to some of the guys, I'm getting numbers from a guy from the school that has theirs, you know, he gotta get up here and just do a walkthrough, you know what I mean? To put something on there, not that it's gonna run the whole building, but maybe the vitals, I guess you could say, you know?
We talked about, cause when the power went out, the entire police department, all the radios, everything was down.
Correct, everything is down,
And
yep.
then the so they were not able to communicate unless they used their personal cell phones, and we were lucky in this instance that it was up and running in 3 to 4 hours, but technically our cell phone towers around here only have a 6-hour battery life,
Yep.
so.
Or even their car squad ones. you know,
Yeah.
So,
So if our power is out for longer than 6 hours, then no one's able to use their cell phones either, and so the thought was, if we're in an emergency situation for longer than 6 hours, is our police going to communicate with our fire, and the fire with the ambulance, and vice versa, and the county and all of that? So, it's just kind of.
I'm surprised that was never. Isn't that
I know there
crazy?
was discussion
It's
years
crazy,
ago
yep.
about it, but we never did anything about it.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
think
We've-
everybody
we've
thinks
talked
that we
about
can
it.
rely on our cell phones, which is
Right.
true,
Yeah,
but you don't
the
realize
power
that
itself.
once the cell phone tower's battery runs out, if we're in an instance like we were where power's not, I mean, it's all down around us, then there's absolutely no way of communicating. So Sean was gonna look into some generator options with potentially of this definitely would fall under like a COVID budget.
I was just looking at just because I wanted the school with that contractor because they're, you know. I haven't heard back. So that's it.
Beautification?
We talked about, the cemetery, moving forward with, next, row or couple rows, fixing headstones, picking up where we left off last year. Discussed a little bit, about the parks, Bosworth Park, we got the power lines dug in. That was about it.
You guys have a meeting
And there's
tomorrow night?
I was gonna say, there's a meeting tomorrow night
Tomorrow night.
Okay.
about the
Yep.
cemetery.
EDA, Kim?
Not a whole heck of a lot. There is a person of interest supposedly wants to start up a new business or take over a business. And she's to fill out the application or whatever, but, my understanding is we have to have a meeting. she would like to get going on it soon, so we might have to have a meeting soon. Was the plan for the 14th, Ashley, or what?
Well, nobody can make it on the
Oh,
14th.
boy.
It'll be the
Crystal
following
was
week.
the last person to say she
Make it the
couldn't,
following
so
week?
maybe next week. I'll have
Okay.
to send out tomorrow.
Yeah, 'cause a couple of our members, they said they were on vacation, I guess, or whatever, too. And then, according to the Norman County EDA, they had a heavy discussion on about putting up a 24-unit apartment. But we don't have the room for it, you know? And that was part of a discussion or whatever, and hopefully they can come up with some kind of a plan or whatever. And, but otherwise, it's nothing too much going on. We still have money. I mean, 2 people that want to fill out, start up a new job or a new, business or anything like that. And we still got money for the window grant or the front store grant,
Yep. And
money
demo
for
fund.
that or whatever, so yeah.
And demo fund.
And demo fund, yeah, that's right, we still got money for demo fund too, so. Otherwise, we're all good.
Okay, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay, motion from Josh, second from Scott, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? This meeting is adjourned.
Just wanna say.
For anything.
Grinder tonight.